What up, metalheads? All right, so today we are discussing what metal is, what it means to you, the definition of it, and everything. And I was inspired to make this discussion because I was in like a group chat with some people online, and there were arguments as to what was metal, what was not metal, and some people were saying that like metal is just a heavy rock. Some people were saying if it's heavy, then it's metal. Some people even went as far as saying that screaming is metal, and my argument was different. I'm sure his is different, and I'm sure your guys' is different as well. And we're gonna discuss what that is and what metal means to you. So Isaac, I'll let you start. What do you think metal is?
Metal is
What is
something...
the definition of it? What is the core?
Okay, well, the definition of metal is metal, but the definition of metal, that is the definition. Okay, whatever. So, that was very confusing, but that's my logic, to be honest. Very confusing. Honestly, I don't know what to say to that, because metal, yes, sometimes is heavy.
So,
yes.
Here, do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Alright, so, to me, what makes metal... First, I'm going to combat the argument of metal being harder rock or heavier rock music. Because I've heard that argument a lot. People just say, hey, metal is just harder and heavier rock.
Actually,
sometimes even faster.
I had a friend in school. I showed him the band Megadeth because they said that they were metalheads. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I've never heard Megadeth. I was like, oh, really? You're crazy. And then showed them, they're like, oh yeah, I heard that they were a really hardcore rock band. I was like, whoa, okay. I guess you could say that, but not really at all, not even close.
Yeah, no, so, I mean, in some cases, maybe bands like Slipknot and Korn, Disturbed, those bands do sound like harder rock. They sound like rock music, just heavier, right?
Yeah.
Rock with screaming over it. And people that listen to that kind of metal, the new metal, I can see why they would think that. But I guess what they don't see is that there's more metal than just that. You know, that is a branch of metal called nu metal. And so in that case, yes, to me what nu metal is it's hip-hop, rock music with some metal in there. You mix those three elements and you have nu metal. So in that case, I guess, yeah, harder, heavier rock is what creates nu metal. But to me, well, I might offend some people out there, but to me, nu metal is not really metal at all to me. I'm sorry, those of you that love nu metal. I'll still review those albums on this channel or react if people request them. But to me, like I said, nu metal isn't really metal to me. I don't see Linkin Park as metal. I don't really see...
Ew.
Yeah.
I hate Linkin Park, to be honest. I don't like them.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan either. I'm not a big fan of Slipknot, although I do appreciate their first album. It's pretty artistic.
I understand
Slipknot. I don't see it as metal, but it is artistic. I totally see why everyone's crazed over it. Korn, I like some of Korn stuff, but I don't consider it to be metal. Disturbed, they're alright. I don't think they're bad, but again, I don't see it as metal. It's just harder, more aggressive rock music is the way I see it. But metal, what is metal to me? To me, metal is actually not vocal driven. See, this is where the difference between rock music and metal come into play. Rock music is really vocal driven. That's the same problem with nu metal for me. Bands like Slipknot, Korn, Disturbed, and all that kind of stuff. Is that the core and heart of their music is the vocals. The vocals lead it. If you take away the vocals, there is no song. Right? With metal music, if you were to take away Dave Mustaine's vocals off of Megadeth, it would still be a solid song. When you get Megadeth stuck in your head, you don't think of the lyrics, you're thinking of the riffs. When you're thinking of death, you probably think of the guitar riffs. Basically what I'm trying to say is the instruments lead when in metal instruments lead. Some people say it's guitar driven. I like it guitar driven, but not all metal is necessarily guitar driven. It's just instrumentally driven. So yeah, to me that's metal. Instrumentally driven music that is heavy, So Isaac?
Okay, so I understand where you're coming from, but I do think that...
And I'm not saying vocals don't matter.
Yeah, yeah.
Or I'm not saying that vocals don't drive it. I'm just saying the instruments are the core of metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mainly the guitar, of course. What is metal without guitar? But
Actually, some branches of
well,
metal, there's drums.
that's what I'm trying to say here. Is I'm not saying it's all about guitar, but you need guitar. Basically, because yeah, there are some bands where, like he was saying, the drums may be the lead of it, or bass. The new Havoc album, what's it called? Conformicide. Sometimes their lead at most parts of the songs is the slap bass and the guitar, and the drums. So, what was I trying to say? I forgot where I was going with that. Go ahead, Isaac.
All right, so metal to me is, it's just a huge. Okay, I like metal. One of the reasons I like metal is because it's very artistic. It has a lot of symphony rhythm. It's very artistic.
Well,
it paints
other
a picture in your
genres
mind.
are artistic as well. There's
Yeah.
a lot of other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I see mostly metal because you can picture a
I'm that way
huge.
too.
You could put a huge picture in your mind just from one metal song or an entire metal album. Doesn't matter. Or you have something that you can rock out to. You have something to have fun with. You have something to jam out. Yeah, and it's awesome because.
That could also be argued with. I hear a lot of people who listen to pop music say that it's the fun music. That's the after all, that is the party music.
Yeah, that is the party music, and I know why it's the party music because it has those. Doof, doof, doof,
Yeah. It's universal. Pop is universal.
Yeah. And like he said, it's not completely vocally driven. Vocals do matter in the song, though. Like he did say, I'm not saying that.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah. Vocals do matter, but yes, sometimes it's instrumentally driven. Yes, there are some.
So here's a better way to explain it. Again, if you were to take out the vocals. So, like I said, what are some non-metal bands with good growlers? Maybe the most modern In Flames, the most modern, not necessarily Post Colony because that's still metal, but there's some of their newer stuff which to me has gone a little new metal. Like their latest album, I'm forgetting what it's called, but anyways, that guy's got some good growls. Or not growls, but vocals. But if you were to take his vocals away and leave it to the instruments don't carry a song. With metal, like Amon Amarth, the album we just reviewed, Yams Viking, now he's got killer vocals, and the vocals actually they are up front and the main part of the album. However...
Oh, actually, that brings me to one thing. The vocals are probably the main part because...
they are.
Oh, and stuff like that because it's a storytelling album.
Well, yes,
so you need the vocals for the storytelling.
But here's what makes it metal, because like I said, there's other bands like Slipknot and so on, and rock bands, AC/DC, Motley Crue, which I consider AC/DC a little bit metal, but that's something else. All right, no. So you have your rock bands where vocals are up front and the main part telling a story. Some of them have meaning. And Amon Amarth also is good with storytelling, and the vocals are turned up, above the other instruments. So what makes one rock and what makes one metal? Well, with a rock song, if you were to take out, or a Slipknot song or whatever, if you were to take out the vocals and leave it up to the instruments don't carry a song. They are supporting the vocals. They are there to support the vocals. The vocals are playing off of the instruments. With Amon Amarth, yes, the vocals are the main point, but if you were to take out the vocals and leave it to the instruments still carry a song. The instruments are what's building the atmosphere. They're what's building the story, the intensity, and the pace of it. And the vocals are just another instrument. It's more so like the instruments are the song and the vocals are supporting it.
I hear it.
To me, that's always how metal has been to me. I mean, if you were to take out the lyrics or the vocals of Painkiller and let the instruments be the song only, it's still one badass song. A Hangar 18, badass song without vocals. It's just endless. I could keep saying it. Death, off of just pick an album. The instruments still carry the songs.
Yeah, I hear it.
Black Sabbath, I'll give a pass because Black Sabbath, the vocals are really important.
Yeah.
But I'll give them a pass because it's just coming out. it's rock and they're coming out of rock. They're the first, so obviously they're not going to be fully developed into metal. They were the first roll into metal, you know.
Yeah, like you said, freaking Black Sabbath actually enrolled metal.
Mm-hmm.
They did, but I don't know how to say it. It's metal is just okay. Some people.
Another thing that's important to me is metal, and this is why I guess that new metal stuff is considered metal. Is that metal is it's kind of for the outcasted, for the weirdos to come to. It's for everyone. It's acceptable. Anyone can come to metal, but there's kind of one unspoken of rule in metal, and it's that metal should not be mainstream. Metal should not be trying to be cool, trying to, get chicks and be, doing what glam rock does. Metal is basically a big FU to mainstream, and it's an enemy, we're an enemy to mainstream, Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's the character of metal to me.
That does make sense. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, Andreas is actually the type of person in real life. He's just that. Whatever, if anyone.
That's why I gravitate to metal a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I used to
If anyone goes to one thing, he goes the other direction of it.
It's true. I mean, if I used to love Metallica, but then when I dove deep into metal and I started realizing that Metallica is actually more mainstream than I thought. Now I don't listen to them because I hate the fact that they're mainstream. I really do. Megadeth they're mainstream in the metal community, so I'm okay with that. They're not actual like mainstream, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm like that in real life. I might like a certain food, and once everyone starts liking it, I all of a sudden won't like that food.
Yeah, it's not that he does it. It's not that he does it by choice. It's just it's natural.
I really don't do it by choice. I just don't. I
don't
get
understand
tired of it.
I don't understand it, and he doesn't understand.
I used to. I mean, he knows there are some albums that I used to just love, and then once he started picking up on it, and my sister, all of a sudden I won't listen to that album anymore. It's just, I guess sometimes I'm tired of hearing things everywhere. I'm tired. The reason why I like metal is because it's special. Not everyone gravitates towards it. It's not mainstream. Like I said, I would like rap music, but it's everywhere. So in that case, I don't want to put on my headphones on my own time and hear what I hear out there. Does that make sense? Yeah, I would much rather, be out and about, go to parties and hear, dubstep or whatever. People are talking about Eminem and, Lil Yachty and all that kind of stuff. And I know. And then when I come home, I don't want to listen to what I've already heard. I want to listen to what hasn't been heard, and that's metal, And so that's just how I am.
Yeah.
That's just how I am. If, I love death up until it gets mainstream. All of a sudden I won't like death.
Yeah, makes sense. But as you said, no one really... Metal doesn't have a gravity to it. Metal doesn't have gravity to it. It's just, hey, here's a place you can go to it.
Yeah, metal doesn't have...
Now I think of it, you're forced to listen to pop.
You are forced to listen
to pop. You are forced to listen to pop.
Yes, and it's it's my enemy. That's why I do not like pop music at all.
You could say, hey, what are you listening to? They'd be like, oh, this. And they're like, here, listen. Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Or when you go anywhere, you can hear a car blaring pop.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to a party. What's there? Pop. You're forced to listen to pop. Now that I think of it.
I also am growing a big appreciation. We're getting way off topic as to what is metal, but I just want to say one thing. I am growing an appreciation to indie music because I noticed that it's like pop, but it's kind of this off pop that not everyone is listening to. It's kind of like the underground pop kind of. I'm growing an appreciation for it. But anyways, back to what is metal. I already said what metal is to me. He already said what metal is to him. What is metal to you? Comment below and let us know.
Actually, one thing that I did not mention.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
But one thing that I did not mention is that some people might get mad at me for saying this, but stuff that I don't think is pop is the Suicide Silence genre, like the alternative pop. Metal? Alternative metal.
You're talking about metal?
Yeah, alternative metal.
He says Suicide Silence isn't metal.
It's very... I just call it emo music because...
Yeah.
It's very offensive.
That's stereotyping.
I understand it because... I understand it because metal in general is considered emo.
Well,
so
yes,
I'm
but
not...
just like some people will say that Cannibal Corpse or
Death.
Opeth or Death or Screamo. That's kind of, generically stereotyping and labeling. So,
Yeah, but
the way I define it is, I mean, it's emo, but I don't call it that because I know that that's
Yeah.
labeling, stereotyping. That's not actually what it is. The way I see it is, it really depends on who it is. Either like blackened rock. It sounds like rock music. That's just heavy. That's it. So I call it, or so like Blood on the Dance Floor. That is.
whoa.
Alright, Blood on the Dance Floor to me is heavy pop. I call that heavy pop music because it's pop. That's just heavier and darker and with some screaming in there sometimes.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's not metal to me in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Linkin Park, again, heavy pop music. That's not even real rock. Some people say Papa Roach is metal. To me, that's just, again, heavy pop music.
Okay, I understand. All those are heavy pop.
Yeah, it's pop music. It really is. If you listen to it, it's pop with that's. If you take the tone and tuning of it and bring it all the way down, it's just heavy. It's heavy pop.
Yeah, actually, no, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I always see it. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I was looking at my hair, so I was like, wait, what is happening? I don't know. Okay, see you guys later. Let us know what metal is to you. Stay awesome.